What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and today I have a gear review on the updated version of the Hit and Move All-Day Pro Agility Training Gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, and today I am ultra excited to bring you the review of the updated version of the Hit and Move All-Day Agility Pro Training Gloves. Now, today is a really special day for this glove in particular because, funny enough, if you've been following the social media pages, you know I've had the most difficult time making this video. I don't know why. Some videos are just cursed to begin with, but I have a really good feeling about this take. But I found out it kind of worked out for a really good reason, because today is actually July 18th, 2023, and you might be thinking, well, why is that a big deal? July 18th of 2021, I reviewed the original version of the Agility Pro Training Gloves, and actually a cool thing about those is at the time, Hit and Move was a brand new company, and they were just called the All-Day Training Gloves. You didn't have the Agility Pros or the Balance Pros or even the All-Day Pluses, the pound and a half weighted training gloves, or they didn't have the fight gloves really available for sale quite yet. It was just these, and then they were selling the Reflex Trainer at the time. And Hit and Move is one of those brands for me, and I think you can go and watch a bunch of other reviewers there on YouTube, whether it be Simon with Fit to Fox, Scarlo with C Squared, or even Coach with That Boxing Guy. Everyone I've seen review these gloves or anything by Hit and Move has nothing but great things to say, and I am one of those guys as well. If you've seen any single one of the videos I've reviewed Hit and Move stuff, which I've reviewed 4 separate products of theirs now, all gloves, and I also plan to review a pair of mitts by them. Every single one of their products has gotten a 10 out of 10 so far, and I'm wondering if these gloves will change, because there are a couple changes to the updated version of the Agility Pros. Now, just to give a disclaimer ahead of time, yes, these gloves were sent to me, but as always, I always give you a 100% honest upfront review, because at the end of the day, guys, it's your time, it's your safety, and it's your money, and I want you to keep training with some of the best gear on the market, so I wouldn't ever lie to you about anything like this just because the glove was sent to me. Just to even go a little bit further with that, the first 3 pairs of boxing gloves that I have from Hit and Move, they actually messaged me and asked if I would buy the product and ask how I feel. So I think they've made enough, and they're big enough now to where they're able to send stuff, which is great. So they sent me the pair of fight gloves that I reviewed. They also sent me these to try out, and then their pair of turtle mitts, which is really awesome. So I'm going to review those probably within the next week here. I just got to shoot myself actually holding them with one of my teammates. But basically, I'm really excited to do this review too, guys, because Hit and Move, like I said, has been around for about 2 years, 2.5 years now, going on 3, and they, for me, are just one of those brands that try to innovate the world of boxing, and I love their slogan because they live up to it every day. The owner, Ozzy, and his wife live up to it every day when they design stuff, and it is "Boxing deserves better" is what their slogan is, and I couldn't agree more, because Ozzy basically tries to sift through all the baloney within the boxing glove world and boxing equipment world, because he and his wife are into orthopedics and physical therapy, and they're also freak athletes. They're very athletic and healthy people, and they know what it is that needs to preserve the anatomy of the human body. That's why I love Hit and Move, because they developed a lot of different things, and they're continuing to develop more that will change safety as far as boxing, MMA, kickboxing, everything else. Obviously, I'm a professional MMA fighter. I love these gloves, and I know a lot of boxers that would love these gloves, including the different reviewers that I met. The other people that really enjoy the equipment made by Hit and Move is Gervonta Tank Davis uses actually the training models when he's in training. And then on top of it, his coach actually uses the Hit and Move mitts as well. And then on top of it, you've also seen an up-and-coming pro, Jahlil Hackett, has actually used these from the start, and he swears by them. And then on top of it, you've also seen these exact gloves and mitts, as well as Hidden Move's logo within the movie Creed 3, using the mitts and stuff like that as well, which Patrice Boogie Harris, I believe, actually uses those in the movie, if I'm remembering by... if my memory is correct in that. But like I said, Hidden Move is just an innovative company. You know, there are a lot of companies out there that try and mimic and copy things, you know, and I always think about brands that have been around for so long, and people try and copy brands like, you know, Winning, Reyes, Everlast, Grant, all those things. There's a ton of different replicas of those brands out there that try and really hit it, and they just try and make the same thing but market lower so they can make a quick buck, compared to brands like Rival or Onyx Labs that like to create new things that's for the coach, that's for the athlete, that's for a referee, that's for a guy that's just going into the gym to try and get a good workout. That's why I love Hidden Move, because for me, they create something that works for everybody. You see a lot of gloves out there that say they're a training glove, yet when you hit the bag with them, they fall apart, so you can't spar with them anymore, or if you spar with them, that's all you can use. Everlast Power Lock is a really good example. For me, Hidden Move is one of the first brands to really market that this is a 2-in-1 glove. You can do whatever it is you want in these, whether it be hit the bag, whether it be spar in these, anything you can think of, you can use these instead of swapping back and forth. And on top of it, they're also very competitively priced compared to a lot of other gloves out there that are in that professional range. But we usually save the price for the end of it, so we'll go into that in a little bit. But overall, there are a couple minor changes to this updated version of the Agility Pro. Like I said, when I first got these, the original model, which I don't have with me, a teammate of mine is using them currently. I let him use them for a little bit, which was poor timing on the part of this video, so I apologize. I can't do exact side-by-side comparisons, but I know exactly how the other ones felt, and I remember exactly how they felt, and there are some minor differences between the old version and this version. Now, mind you, when I got those, the original version, they were just called the all-day training glove. That was it. That's all they had. And then they went to the all-day premiums, which features a grain leather, and it was virtually the same thing, only with grain leather. Only now they've made two different things, as well as the all-day pluses, which is the 1.5 pound training gloves. The differences that I was explained to is that the outer shell, the leather, is different. I wasn't sure if he said I couldn't say this or not, but it's made out of a Turkish leather now, which is a very nice high quality leather. In fact, if you're into leather at all, I oddly am, of course. You know, why not? I'm the weirdest guy on the planet. I love leather products. Why not? But if you look at like any top 10 list, Turkey is always within the top 6 or 5 as far as like the best leather quality in the world. Most lists that I've seen is like Italy #1, funny enough, Brazil #2, then it goes usually Turkey and the United States within that order. But as far as like distributing and like exporting, the two biggest countries that actually export most are Pakistan and China. They export the most leather, but as far as quality goes, Italy's always #1, but Turkey's always within the top 10, at least if you go look at any top 10 leather countries, Italy's always #1. I don't think that's been disputed yet. But Turkey's a very, very nice leather, and I do notice a slight difference in the leather already, and that it is a little bit smoother, and that the scent is a little bit stronger. It has that nice classic leather scent, like a very nice high quality new leather wallet or leather coat that you smell. If you ever go to like, we have a place around where I live called Forever Leather, you know, and you walk into that or walk by it, you just smell that nice leather scent, like a brand new pair of leather shoes. And then also this glove is designed to have a tighter hand compartment, a more compact hand compartment, because Ozzy told me, the owner told me, this is basically going to be the smallest 16 ounce that you've used, is what he told me, which was interesting. Although I did warn him ahead of time. I said, listen, I don't really like smaller hand compartments because I wear a size 14 ring, if that tells you anything. I don't know if the camera tells you. I don't have long fingers, but my hands are fat. So that was the one thing I was worried about, but that has not been an issue as of yet. So really excited to finally get into the review. I know I can talk a lot. We're already 8 minutes in, but let's go ahead and go into my exact model, which is the 16 ounce hook and loop closure with the red and white colorway. And you have a ton of different options. You can get every single colorway, and also you can get them in lace up in 12, 14, and 16 ounces. They don't have 18s, but they do have the all day pluses, which is 1.5 pounds on each hand. So you got 3 pounds total there. I would go with that if you want to weight a training glove, because the method of which they actually weigh the glove, it's absolutely absolutely amazing because it doesn't change the shape of the glove. It just changes the weight of the glove, which is really, really cool, guys. So they don't have anything above 18 ounces. If you want anything below the 12, they have the fight gloves, which is virtually this, only just a little smaller. But the hand compartment actually about the same size, if not a little bit bigger than this. But they have a bunch of different colorways. My favorite still to this day is the original that they have is the black, gold, and red. I think it's a really nice gilded look to it. They also have white and gold, black, white, and gold. They also have, blue and blue, white, and red, and like the whole thing is white on the back. That's actually the balances that I reviewed when they were called the All Day Premiums. They were the balances. Those have that really cool color. That's the color I have. You can go watch that video. But I have the red and white, and the only thing that changes the pricing is the one colorway that's a limited edition, which is like a bright, vibrant green and white color, I believe, if I remember properly, and that raises the price by like $60, which is crazy. But I think if you just want the regular thing, and it's like $220 either way. I told you I'd save the price for a little bit later, but just to give you an idea, if you want that limited edition color, you gotta pay a little bit more. But they have that, once again, 12, 14, 16 ounces. You have tons of different color options, and you can also get them in lace up. So if you're not a guy like me, I fight in MMA, and constantly we're switching between these and then small MMA gloves, so I constantly have to keep switching during practice. Sometimes we'll do grappling drills at the beginning, then striking drills, then we'll go back to grappling. It's just how it works in MMA. Sometimes you never know what's going to happen every day. You gotta practice everything, right? So I prefer Velcro hook and loop, but if you're a pure boxer and you want that lace up, they got you covered there. When we go into the look of the glove, what I love about this glove is that nice classic car red that we got going on here, like that hot cherry red that I like a lot. And like I said, you can see that the Turkish leather compared to, like, if you go back to the original video, that this is a much more like smoother color, and it's definitely a smooth leather. For those of you that might get confused, like what's the difference between a smooth leather and like a grained leather, this is a completely smooth leather. You can see that there are some grain marks naturally occurring from the hide and wrinkles from the hide itself, but basically smooth leather. And then there's smooth grained leathers, which you would get with, say, the balances, right? It just shows you the little bumps and creases. They didn't shave it down quite as flat. Now, does that change the durability of the glove? No, not really. I've yet to see that really affect it. I prefer to have the grain marks in it because the grain tends to, it's kind of like having the vinyl effect on or the diamond effect on vinyls. They don't tear as much when you have the tiny little grooves in it. It's just because it can bend and shift in different ways, but obviously it's not going to be any different with this. But you get that nice red, hot red color going all the way throughout here to the back of the hand. When we go to the back of the hand again, you got the Hit and Move logo, which I know is just an H and an M, but I always think it's a samurai helmet for some reason. I have no idea why, but it's that nice Hit and Move logo. It says Hit and Move right there, and then you have the All Day and that nice movie title. And for me, the whole back of the glove looks like a movie title, and I love that. Or it looks like a brand that you'd see at the end of a movie. So it looks really, really cool. Then we come to the thumb, which is also in red, but it says All Day on the side there, which is also really cool. So it tells you All Day right there. And then on top of it, you have that red right here is this thumb attachment. All the way to the back of the wrist strap as well, and the wrist cuff is all that red. The wrist strap is red with white piping, and you have a white Hit and Move logo right there. Coming back to the palm, you have a nice white palm with white double line stitching all the way throughout, and you can see that we have the 3 holes here at the top of the hand by your fingers and up above the grip bar, which is also white, and then you also have holes there. You have white palm piping and white thumb piping, so the piping entirely of the glove is white, including the wrist strap. A cool thing that you get with every single one of the Hit and Move gloves, a nice little feature, I always like a little bit of extra design, is you got a nice Hit and Move stamp right there on the wrist strap, and then you also have it telling you that it is designed in the USA, right? Designed in the USA and made of genuine leather. Now, genuine leather in the leather world, more info on leather. Genuine leather usually refers to like leather scraps and stuff like that. It means that it's made out of like the lowest quality leather. However, the genuine leather stamps that you see on boxing gloves, depends on how much you pay for it, will tell you really how high the quality of the leather is. Obviously, this quality is a lot more than, say, like your Title boxing gloves that say genuine leather on it that you spent $40 on. The reason why is because it's just telling you it is made out of a leather product. They kind of make you do that, and most brands will say made out of high quality leather or something like that. Most brands that want to tell you that it is made out of real leather, they put that stamp on that to make sure you know, because it's in the shape of a cowhide, right there, as you can see. But this is not the case where it's made out of genuine leather. It's made out of a top grain leather, which is completely different. It's basically the bare form of the hide, only they take all the imperfections out, and in this case they smoothed it out to get rid of some of the grain marks, although you can definitely see the creases in the natural grain of the leather. It's just a very smooth texture. When we go to the inside of the glove, you can also see that it is a black lining. However, you have the nice little Hit and Move logos going all the way throughout there. And really the only brands that I know do that are Adidas and Everlast does it with their Everdry stuff. And then on top of it, you can also see that we have the black Velcro here, black Velcro here, and then you can see that we have the 16-ounce stamp at the bottom. It's a tiny little tag telling you, hey, it's 16 ounces. Another thing you might have noticed too is at the bottom of the palm, you can see that it turned a little pinkish in the white area, and that's just because this part bled into this a little bit. Guys, when it comes to white gloves or white anything, it's gonna bleed in. I mean, the white pair of Winnings that I have right here, I've had to like wipe off because I've literally punched people in sparring and the red dye from their shirt had stained the back of the glove. That's just what's gonna happen when you get white anything. But it still looks really nice. The red and white works really good right here. Going into the build of the glove, guys, I'll go over to this glove because I can. You can once again talk about the outer shell being a little bit different. We have a nice thick Turkish leather hide on the end of it. Now, like I said, the other one felt pretty soft and supple to begin with, but this one definitely feels a lot smoother and you get a lot more of a stronger scent. I don't know what leather they were using before, but you get a much stronger scent here. I'd say it's very similar to like a very high quality dress shoe. For me, it doesn't smell quite like a Reyes leather, but it smells like a Fly leather. It smells like a Winning leather. It smells like very smoothed out, nice hide, right? And it just smells clean. It's a clean scent, and I really love how that smells. It smells like you're getting into a luxury vehicle. If you've ever been into a luxury vehicle before or been around one, you can kind of smell what the seats are. That's exactly it. And it's a very thick hide too. That's over the padding. I always try and show you that because as I always tell you guys, you want a thicker hide over the padding, because if you have a hide that's just stretched over the padding's constantly going to be under pressure, which is going to make it break down easier, and it's also going to make it a lot firmer to hit your target and also for your hand. So you don't really want the firmest target right off the bat. You want it to be able to break in the padding nice and even. That way the padding isn't always just smushed, because that means that it's going to deform the glove. It's not going to be good. It's going to break apart a lot easier. So a nice loose hide over the padding is nice and good, but it's stretched tight enough to where it's going to stay over it and not ruin it. The other thing that Hit and Move does I love, it might just be the interior lining of the hide that they use. Some people will put a back lining to the hide on the other end. That's like a foam lining, and that's kind of how it feels, or it could just be a soft plush lining that you have going on here that actually really protects the padding, and it also adds more protection for your knuckles as well. So the leather itself is padded alone, which is really cool. I love that feature that they have there. That for me makes me really happy. I love that brands are starting to do that. I think Hit and Move, Bryant Boxing, and then actually New Sporting does that really well, which I like a lot. And a couple other brands do that, but I think Hit and Move does a really good job there. And then when we go ahead into the padding themselves, one of my favorite stories is the dart padding that you have on the inside. It's DR-T, and the idea was Ozzy, the owner, said, well, I just like a dart, I want to be able to throw it and just have it go straight. I don't want it to dip down, don't want it to curve up, I want it to just go straight. So he made a completely balanced glove like this, and you can see how no matter how I move it, even if I move it side to side, it stays nice and balanced, which is always good. Although most Velcro gloves are a little bit more top heavy, you can see that this isn't weighing the whole weight of the glove down, and it's the same thing when I go here, right? This isn't just arcing the whole thing down. It's just nice and balanced on my hand, which is always good. The idea is when I punch, my arm won't go down, and it's not gonna make my arms any more tired. I'm able to just punch at a straight pace and not have the gloves become heavier over time and just kind of bear more weight on my shoulders than I really need, even for a 16-ounce pair of gloves. So that's the idea behind the dart padding, and it's definitely a nice multi-layered foam padding that you got going on here. I imagine there's latex in it. and other polyurethane foams on the inside, because when I crease it this way, you can see it pops open, but you can see the center of it is still breathing out a little bit. And what I think is happening with that dart padding, they actually have a graph of how it works. It's a bunch of layers to make this foam, and the idea is that as I punch, it's not shock absorption, it's shock repulsion. It's pushing that impact that I'm hitting away, and it's cradling my knuckles at the same time and creating enough distance. Because when I put my hand on the inside of the knuckle padding here, you can actually see that this is, for one, nice and plush and yet firm at the same time to really give a nice recoil. But it's soft enough to when I get punched, it's not going to really hurt my sparring partner all that much compared to, say, a Winning or a Grant or anything like that. It's not going to do that much damage to my partner, and it's going to actually help my hand at the end of the day. And it's a pretty thick piece of padding that you got going on here too, so that's really good for your hands. The other thing that I like about the padding is that it is separate down here to the thumb, but the thumb is curved in a very nice natural position, which I love, because all I gotta do is just ball my fist, I'm ready to go in this glove. You know, some gloves you gotta kind of move your thumb around and move your fingers around a little bit, but in this hand, it ergonomically and anatomically allows my hand to just fit in and ball, because that thumb's in a good spot and because of the way that the fingers curve down and where the padding is. So it's protecting the entirety of the top of my hand and also the back of my wrist, because not only does that shock repulsion get rid of the impact, and people don't know that when it travels down, the energy that travels down when you punch, your wrist bones don't pop outward, they pop upward like that, okay? So it's actually stabilizing your wrist on the back from popping upward, and it's keeping everything locked in place because you got that padding on the back of the wrist as well. And on top of it, you got a pretty decent sized wrist strap. It's a bit of a shorter wrist strap, but it's a nice, tight, and firm wrist strap that does a good job. The other thing that keeps the glove on your hand so well are these EVA foam pads at the bottom. They feel like rubber to a lot of people, but what this does, guys, is actually weighs it down, not the glove itself. Some people will put a lot of foam at the bottom just to weigh the glove out, but it weighs it down like this, so it clips to your arm and it hugs it like that. It's kind of like those little slap bracelets that you had. It's made out of a material similar to that. It's like that type of rubber, so when it's here, it sticks to your arm and doesn't move. So you have that padding going here at the bottom of the wrist, as well as you have the grip bar that is nice and padded as well. You also have those breathe holes that I was talking about earlier, which keep the glove on the inside nice and ventilated, though you do have a very nice moisture wicking interior lining, which is a poly cotton antimicrobial lining, which is really, really nice. It's that dry fit pillow. If you've ever put your hand on the inside of a rival glove, it feels very, very similar to that. It's not baggy at all. It's like putting your hand on the inside of a pillow. And on top of it, the interior lining itself is also foam lined, so it's also protecting your knuckles just by that alone. You also have your interior elastic strap to keep the glove completely strapped to your hand and to stop the glove from fanning out too far, just to put your hand on the inside. Now, when I first got it, I will admit, it was a little stiff, and I had to put my hand in and really work it in. But what I wound up doing is I put a towel in, just a big bath towel, shoved it in the glove and let it sit there for a day. I came back and I shoved my hand in just like I did now. It's very easy for me to just work my hand in and I'm good to go. Pull it down a little bit, even just for a little bit extra comfort. Now I have a very natural, as you can see, punch position where my knuckles line up very good. And then on top of it, I can't feel my knuckles at all, but I can feel that nice recoil coming off for a nice puncher's feel with that same pillow cradling style. And on top of it, they are a decently smaller glove if you really like to, you know, parry shots and get away and then move your head a lot like I do. They are very good for just rapid fire and combinations, which is always great. That thumb, like I said, feels very good. I have just enough flexibility, and the glove is very flexible to open. It may feel a little stiff if you're trying to open it much wider than this, but I think if you've been in the sport for a while, you know you don't need to open it much wider than that. If you're a Thai guy, very, very good grips with this glove too. And your fingers feel very soft at the tip. It's like there's a big pillow landing right here underneath the fingers, which feels really, really good. It's like there's a little lip of padding right there that feels great. I wish I could shove a camera in there and show you. But the thumb feels good, the back of the hand feels good, and like I said, the wrist strap keeps my hand nice and snug on the inside there with very, very strong Velcro, and it also stabilizes my wrist from going backwards, down, and to the side. But obviously with any type of Velcro strap, I think Lace-Up gives the best support as far as wrist support goes, but I think this is a very good Velcro strap. And to show you how strong it is, if I yank as hard as I can, my arm cannot come out. It's stopping right here, the bottom here. And look, I slid it right back up. So it's going to stabilize your wrist really well. I recommend a light wrap when you wear this glove for a compact glove. Even though it's a compact glove, I still say it has plenty of hand space for me to wrap my hands big, though I don't have to in these gloves because the padding makes up for it, and the interior lining is honestly soft enough. It feels like you have a hand wrap on without hand wraps, which is really, really good. But let's go ahead and go into the bag work and the model view so you can see these gloves in action, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. So when it comes to hitting the bag with these gloves, what I love about them is that no matter what style of puncher you are, these gloves work for you. If you want to be a big power puncher on these, or you want to be a multi-combination puncher with these and get good grips, if you're a Thai boxer, they work for you. They're also so light because of that dart padding that it repels the impact right when you strike, and it feels really comfortable on your hand. And overall, I just love how these gloves feel whenever I hit the bags or pads. They're great for sparring too, but overall, these are some of my favorite gloves I've ever used to hit the heavy bag with. Absolutely amazing energy. So as you can see, I'm showing you the All Day and the back logo just to see how bold they pop out. So it's very easy to read what they say on the back, which is what I love about these. And then the red coloration really works with anything you're going to wear. The red and white really works with any outfit. They pop out. They say that it is a very high-end glove with a very basic pattern to it. There are a ton of other color options, but you're going to love getting punched by these. Alright folks, so my final verdict here for the updated version of the Hit and Move All Day Pro Agility training gloves are, just like the original and the other equipment that I've used by Hit and Move, I am absolutely blown away by it. It is just absolutely high quality handmade stuff that I would recommend to anybody. That's the thing about anything made by Hit and Move, is that's what they were designed for. They were designed for anybody, whether you have bad hands, whether you're a puncher, whether you're a defensive fighter, whether you like to move around a lot. They're light enough on your hands to do whatever it is. They provide just enough protection for your knuckles, your wrist, the back of your hand, and even your palms and everything. They're comfortable. They work for anyone. Anyone that I've let try these gloves has had nothing but good things to say, including other reviewers. In fact, I still watch other reviewers because I say support the community. You know, it's a very niche community, and I respect everyone's opinions, and I always want to see what those guys are saying too, to see if I agree or disagree with certain things. And I agree a lot, especially with what Simon says about, from Fit to Box, in that these are actually his Velcro champions. I think the balances are Hit and Move, and he just says a lot of the same things I'm saying. The wrist support's great, knuckles padding's good, they work for a lot of people, and that's the thing behind these. And in fact, for me, I won't say I'm biased, but I will say there is a part of me that if someone were to look at me and say, craft a glove in your head of what would work perfect for you, I'd probably wind up getting a pair of Hit and Move gloves, because I love that I can constantly punch without having any type of fatigue on it. They're not too heavy in one area. I don't have to worry about, you know, missing a step every now and again. Even the best in the world do. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, I'm far from it, but I'm just saying, even if I miss a step, I know I'm covered in these gloves. I also love the pop I get off these. I love the support I get off these. I love that I'm able to defend myself with these in sparring just enough. I love how they're like a middle size compared to a lot of gloves, so I have that good MMA sparring feel, and it feels like they're small enough to, you know, kind of give me the same idea as, say, like, you know, an MMA fight glove would. Now, obviously, these are much smaller than those, but that's the idea that I'm trying to get when I spar in big gloves, and I want one that's not so big that it just blocks everything, right? And that's the same thing I get here. It keeps you honest. The knuckle padding's great. The wrist support's great. They're comfortable. They're durable. They're easy to clean. They're everything that you need. And on top of it, guys, if you're in the market for a professional pair of boxing gloves, and you don't know if you want to invest in Reyes because you're not sure if the wrist support and the knuckle padding is going to be good enough for you, and you don't want to get the extra padding version of those because you've heard mixed reviews on them, or you don't want the Hero double loop from Reyes, or you don't want to spend $400 to $500 on winnings, and you don't want to spend years trying to find a pair of Grants for $600 or more, These are $219 or $220, which is the same price that you can get for Reyes. It's the same price that you can get for the Venom hammers right here. Same price for a new pair of new Sportings. Basically the same price as some Fairtex gloves out there. It's like it's better than a lot. I mean, every Fairtex glove I use, this is way better than those. Those are about $100. There are Combat Corner gloves out there that are like $150. I think these are way better than. There are some Rival gloves that I like these more than. There are like Ringside. I'm just looking at gloves that cost like the MX, like Everlast MX for me. I think that they're not the best gloves, but they run you about $200. Why do that when you can get $220? Something that gives you the same feel as the MX and then some. It gives you that nice puncher's feel. At the same time, you're getting a lot more protection for it, and it's just a more reliable glove at the end of the day. So for $220, I think professionally priced, that's a really good bargain. And honestly, I don't think Hit and Move's charging for these as much as they could, and I think it's because they have the love for boxing. They're not doing it for all the money in the world. I'm sure they're not, because I'm sure in their other endeavors in life they're making plenty doing that. I don't know, but at the end of the day, these gloves are competitively priced. They protect you, they're safe, and they're just a good bet for anybody to try. Even if you don't like them, Hit and Move has a very, very good customer service line, and they're very, very dedicated to fulfilling your customer needs. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've seen people, reach out to them for suggestions or anything, and they are the first person to stop and say, yes, we will look into this, we'll work on it, thank you for letting us know, because they want to innovate and make their product any better than what it is to begin with. So if you were to ask me, do I see anything wrong with the glove? Like I've said with the other ones, for me personally, not really. Maybe the one thing I could say is for some people is that if you don't like a compact glove, just don't get this one and get the Balance. That's the one I would go with. I like the Balance. That's my favorite Hit and Move glove, that and the All Day Pluses. But I love those because they have a decently sized hand compartment. They're a little bit bigger than this. I don't like a tighter hand compartment because, like I said, I wear a size 14 ring, if that gives you an idea how fat my hands are. My coach, when he wraps my hands, always tells me it's like wrapping catcher's mitts. I don't have the longest fingers, but I do have very wide palms, and I have a wide span for my palms in general. I have a pretty big head. I don't know if this tells you anything of how big my hands are just by putting it next to my head like this. But in general, or even putting it over the back of the glove itself, in general, I need a little bit more space than what this glove might provide, but it's also not too compact to where I can't use it. I still use this comfortably. In fact, I've been using it since I got it about 2 months ago, virtually every day for sparring, bag work, mitt work, name it, I've been using this glove. It's absolutely awesome, just like the other Hit and Move gloves. I think maybe the wrist support in some areas for some people could be better in that maybe I'd put a bar here at the back, but the thing is that the padding where it rests is over your wrist, and it protects it anyway, and that strap keeps it nice and tight. If you really are that skeptical about the Velcro, just get the lace up and then have your coach tie it. For me, for convenience, I prefer hook and loop, just because, like I said, in MMA, I could go from small gloves to big gloves 4 times in a practice. I just never know. So it's just more convenient than, hey coach, can you tie me up for the rest of practice? Then untie me, then go back to tying me. That's just how it goes sometimes, guys, in MMA. I know it sounds stupid, but trust me, if you're a fighter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It happens all the time, although I do like lace-ups quite a bit, but then you gotta get lace and loops, and it's just blah, we won't go down that route. But that's the whole idea about these gloves, guys, is that I love the padding in them. I love the wrist support in them. I think they work good for anyone, whether you're just trying boxing for fun, whether you're just doing it for fitness. If you want a glove just to hit the bag with, perfect. If you want a glove specifically for sparring, perfect. But this glove was designed to do it all. So if you were to ask me what my final rating is out of 10, would be a solid 10 out of 10, just like everything else I've reviewed by Hit and Move, because it tailors to me perfectly. Everything the glove does tailors to me absolutely perfectly. I love how it is. I love how it performs and acts. I love that that it's very easy to clean and maintain. It's durable. The knuckle padding is very comfortable. I love that I get unlimited energy whenever I hit the bag with these gloves. I just get such a comforting feel when I use these, and I know that I'm covered at all times. And like I said, if someone told me to close my eyes and envision a pair of gloves, this would probably be the glove that I would design. In fact, I don't know if you remember, I helped design a glove like 3-4 years ago by a company called Phantom Boxing. I kind of helped design an El Cucuy was the glove it was called, and that was the closest thing that I got to something that was specifically designed for me. Until these came out, I said, they got it, they did it. This is the glove that I love, and that's really why I've been using Hit and Move as like my primary training glove for the last 2 years, basically. And as I mentioned, they've been in Creed 3 at this point. Gervonta Davis is using their stuff, as well as Davis's coach and Jaleel Hackett, and a bunch of other up-and-coming pros are using Hit and Move. And I think within the next 5 years, guys, you're going to see these in world title bouts for sure. I think a lot of people are really going to start migrating to Hit and Move. They're just one of those brands I think are going to keep going up and up and up. And I really have enjoyed my time using these gloves. So thank you so much, Ozzy, for sending these to me. I hope the review did these gloves justice. I've been a fan of Hit and Move ever since you guys reached out to me, and I hope you keep reaching out to me because I'm going to keep using this stuff. It's some of the best out there, in my opinion. So with that said, folks, that's been the review on the updated version of the Hit and Move All Day Agility Pro training gloves. If you have any questions, please comment below and let me know, and I will be happy to answer them. You can also reach out to me on all my social media pages, whether it be TikTok, Instagram. I don't really do anything with my Twitter, but you're welcome to reach out. I'm also on Facebook a ton. You can check me out on there. And of course, like I said, above all, comment below. You can also check out where I got these on the description below, where you can get these, that is. And if you have any questions, reach out to Hit and Move because they are always willing to talk to you about boxing in general and boxing equipment. And I think you're really going to realize you're talking to a lot of really smart people that are trying to get boxing to a really high level. And that's why I love their slogan, boxing deserves better. And don't ever leave that slogan, guys, because you're doing a great job. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching your source for combat sports, The Combat Corporation. I've been your host, El the Postmaster Marlowe, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. All right, folks, have a good one.